Do you know anything? That's not an insult, but a genuine question. Do you know anything? That seems like a question with an obvious answer, but allow me to elaborate.
For example, you know that the sun will rise tomorrow, but how do you know? Because the sun has risen every day of your life, that seems like a fair evaluation. But you're operating under the assumption that what's happened every day since the creation of the earth will continue to happen tomorrow. And that's fair logic, but there's a difference between I know for certain that Q will happen and I know for certain that Q will happen on the condition that P is true. The latter statement is not a certainty. While we can strongly expect the sun to rise tomorrow, we can't be certain because our logic relies on a condition, and a conditional is not certainty.
This shows us that assumptions are necessary to form almost any conclusion, and I'll talk about the exceptions in a moment. This branch of philosophy is called epistemology, the study of knowledge, and it aims to look at what knowledge is and what we can know. And through endeavouring in this topic, we can find out that there's very few things we can know with 100% certainty. It's not just the future that's uncertain, but also the past. How do you know that the sun had risen yesterday? That sounds crazy. How could we have not known? Millions of people were probably watching the sky as it happened. But what we have to realise is memory is also a present experience. There's a concept in philosophy called last Thursdayism that states that the universe could have been made last Thursday. All the energy and matter in our brains constructed so to give us a false memories. And last Thursdayism isn't stating that did happen, but rather that it could be true and we wouldn't know. What we mean when we say we know the sun had risen yesterday, is that we have the memories, the records, or even just the knowledge of how the world works to say that it was. Not that we can actually prove with 100% certainty that it is. So we can't know the future. We can't even know the past. So what about the present? If you look at the sun rising in the sky, then surely you can know for certain that it's there. But even that won't give you the kind of certainty you'll be hoping for. For this part, we'll introduce famous philosopher and mathematician Descartes. Descartes had the following thought experiment. Imagine an evil demon was manipulating all your senses, sight, hearing, touch, pretty much casting what can be best described as hallucinations across your senses. In that scenario, when you're looking at the sun rising, you couldn't even know for sure that was happening, because it could be an illusion of your senses. So, with that in mind, can you even know for sure, for certainty, that what you see, hear, touch, taste and smell exists? Or is that just another thing we can't know for certain? I would lean to say that no, we don't even know for sure what is real around us, even in the present moment. To be aware of anything, you have to be aware in the first place. So you know that you are conscious, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be able to question it. That's the insight behind Descartes' famous quote, "I think, therefore I am." So how do we draw any conclusions if all we know are our own direct experiences? Well, we'll have to use our assumptions and validate their worth based on evidence. That's my answer. This analysis tells us only what we can and can't know for certain. Chances are the sun will rise tomorrow, and we know this with an extremely high probability through experience and evidence. So even if everything else is uncertain, the fact that we are here to question it isn't. Thank you for stopping by in the Night Sparrow Sanctum. Enjoy the rest of your journey.